Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to give everyone about 30 seconds or a minute to go ahead and sign in for those latecomers. Please message me in our chat function here on the right-hand side to let me know that you all can hear me, just to make sure that we're up and running. Thank you, Gabriela. I appreciate it. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Delia. Thank you, Devin. Like I said, we'll give everyone another few seconds just to make sure that everyone can get logged in. All righty, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you again for joining us today for our webinar entitled Coronavirus and Your Business, Why It Matters and What to Do Next. We're excited to have you joining us today. Throughout the presentation, please feel free to ask questions via our chat feature. We will have time at the end to answer as many questions as possible. I also have the amazing Laura on the session, who is the executive director for RAIL, that she will be answering questions throughout. And again, we will have time at the end to answer additional questions. Hello, Laura, thank you. This webinar is presented in partnership by RAIL CDC and the East Valley Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I will be sharing contact information for both organizations at the end of the presentation. Please visit their websites to sign up for their newsletters, follow them on social media, and become a member of the Chamber if you are not already. These organizations provide amazing resources that are especially vital in the current climate. RAIL is a nonprofit organization that works in the East Valley to positively promote policies and systems that build wealth, pathways out of poverty, and help our community thrive. RAIL recently received funding to help small businesses, and we'd like to thank State Farm for the funding these opportunities and helping us create these partnerships with the East Valley Hispanic Chamber of Commerce to help with technical assistance and webinars and workshops to bring information that small businesses need. The mission of the East Valley Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is to promote the economic growth and empower all business enterprises within the East Valley region of metropolitan Phoenix. Hello, Adriana, good to see you. Hola, buenos días. Hello, Nicola, thank you. So as we continue with our presentation, we must keep in mind the question of the hour. Why does all of this matter? In case you guys are not aware, 50% of employees in the United States work for small businesses. 50%, 1 in 2. We are facing unprecedented times, and how we react will determine how our businesses perform during this pandemic. My name is Manny Lucero, and I am honored to be your presenter for this webinar. My company, Lucero Consulting Group, provides small business, nonprofit, and educational consulting. We provide services including financial preparation, marketing, strategy, accounting, public speaking, speech writing, community development, fundraising, and so on. If you have additional questions after the presentation or would like to inquire about my services, please feel free to send an email after the presentation. As a fellow small business owner, I want to ensure you that we are all supporting each other and helping each other throughout this time. I know what you all are going through, so please reach out if you have questions. If you just want to talk, that's what we're here for, is to assist the small business community. So let's get started with what is COVID-19. I'm sure you've all heard plenty of the virus on the news and on social media, but here are some of the basics. COVID-19 is the infectious disease caused by the most recently discovered coronavirus, which is a part of a large family of viruses that includes things like the common cold, MERS, SARS, all of those different viruses are part of the coronavirus family. COVID-19 was discovered in December 2019 in Wuhan, China. This is why it's called COVID-19, December 2019. The most common symptoms include a fever, tiredness, and dry. It's important to note, though, that there are numerous other symptoms. These are the most common. but many individuals will feel and or show no symptoms at all. Hi Esther, hi Jude, happy to have you guys here. So many individuals will not show any symptoms. That's why this is such a problem, because most people who have it won't even show any symptoms of having it. So someone near your business, someone at your place of business may have the virus and not even know it. About 80% of individuals recover from the virus with no special treatment needed. The problem is that 1 in 6 who do get the virus will eventually need a very specific medical care. So once someone does have the virus, 1 in 6 will have to be at the hospital. So the problem with this virus, again, is that most people don't know they have it, they're spreading it around, and there are many people who are more susceptible to the virus, including the elderly, people with autoimmune deficiencies, people who are going through cancer treatment. So the big thing with this virus is that we want to obviously not spread it, and we don't know if we have it or not for most people who are healthy. So make sure that you're doing everything possible to not spread the virus. The disease is spread by infected individuals and from surfaces. So people can catch COVID-19 from others who have the virus. The disease can spread from person to person through small droplets from the nose or mouth, which are spread when a person with COVID-19 coughs or exhales. These droplets land on objects and surfaces around the person. Other people then catch the virus by touching these objects and surfaces and then touching their eyes, nose, or mouth. This is why it is important to stay more than 1 meter or 3 feet away from a person who is sick. And I actually will say the World Health Organization is saying at least 3 feet, but we heavily encourage 6 feet or more. So stay at least 6 feet away from a person who is sick, and wash your hands frequently. Again, you can catch this by touching a surface and then touching your mouth, nose, or eyes. So please wash your hands and do not touch your face. Here are some of the best tips to stay healthy during the craziness of COVID-19. So first and foremost, again, wash your hands. Make sure that you're using soap and warm water and that you are using it for at least 20 seconds. This is very crucial. Another thing is, for those of you who are using your hand sanitizer, that also works. It's not a substitute for washing your hands. You still want to wash your hands, but in moments where you use hand sanitizer, please make sure that the hand sanitizer has at least 70% alcohol content. If it has less than 70%, it is not effective. So please make sure that your hand sanitizer is 70% or more alcohol in the ingredients. Next, make sure that you cover your cough and or sneeze. So again, if you have a tissue, cough or sneeze in there and throw it away. Go ahead and cough or sneeze into your sleeve, and then obviously wash your clothes. Again, this is easily spread by contact of surfaces and objects. So it's not just inhaling, but also touching something and then touching your face. So do the best you can to cover your cough and sneeze. Next, don't touch. So again, avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth, especially if you have not washed your hands. So when you're out in public at the grocery store, if you're you're still working in the office, make sure that you're not touching your face. Wash your hands as frequently as possible, and again, keep your distance. So at least 6 feet from other individuals who you are working with, who you're in public with, etc. Next, stay home. So if you are sick, absolutely stay home. Most companies, and especially with the new executive order that came in with the Family Care Act, you should be able to stay at home. Depending on your company, if you are still working, if you are doing your business full time, obviously you can stay home, you're the boss, but make sure that you're staying at home as much as possible. If you are not experiencing symptoms, again, most people will not experience symptoms, do the best you can to stay home. Work from home, telecommute, do the best you can to work from home and stay there as much as possible. And then lastly, get help. So if you do have symptoms, please make sure that you're reaching out to your healthcare provider and seek medical care. I know that in the news right now, there's a lot of information that people are not being treated, that there's not enough of the tests to go around. That does not matter. Please reach out and do everything you can to get tested in your area. There's daily breakthroughs with testing, with different programs that are coming out. So please do not let the news scare you to not call your healthcare provider. do everything you can to get help. The biggest thing that we can do as a community is to make sure that we're doing our part to stop the spread of the virus. And again, I will just remind everybody to please ask your questions in the chat feature, and we will answer throughout and at the end of the presentation should you have any questions. These are all tips to keep individuals as safe as possible during the pandemic. But next, let's talk about what businesses are doing and should be doing during this time. So, tips for your business. First and foremost, again, stay home. And this means you and your employees. For those of you that are an essential business, which is, there's more information online for you, but essential businesses such as healthcare workers, hospitals, etc. Obviously, you're still going to be at work, so follow the other tips. But for those of you who are able, please work from home. Again, you and your employees. This is the best thing that we can do to stop the spread of the virus. Number two, keep your distance from others. The World Health Organization indicates a mandatory 3 feet, but again, if possible, do 6 feet away from others. Some tips for your business: if you do have a physical location, use tape to help clients keep their distance. So make sure that people can easily determine, where to stop at the register, how far away 6 feet is from each other, so that they have an indicator of where they can actually sit and go. Use signs at your entrance. Make sure that you're telling people that you're following social distancing. And my favorite, don't be shy to tell others that you're keeping your distance. Don't be shy to turn down a handshake and just wave hello. We each need to do our part to make sure that we're keeping our distance from others. Number three, absolutely no travel when possible. Suspend any personal and or business travel scheduled unless it is absolutely necessary. Again, this disease is very easily spread, and airplanes and airports are notorious for keeping people in close proximity. So when possible, as much as possible, please avoid travel. Next, go online. Take your business online. Make sure that you do things like selling products online, telecommuting, everything, which we'll talk about on the next slide as well, but go online when possible. And lastly, for those of you that have products, have contactless delivery. I'm sure you've heard a lot more about this with food, with restaurants and all of those, but do the best you can to offer delivery and make sure that it's contactless so that you're dropping it off at the door. You're not actually meeting with your consumer, your client, you're just dropping off the product. This is the best way for you to still provide your product, but not have contact with other individuals. So these tips should help you and your customers stay safe from the virus. But next, let's chat about how you can best manage potential declines in sales and or revenue. So staying afloat during the coronavirus. First, as I mentioned earlier, take your business online. Host your classes or events online, have meetings digitally, and do sales calls via phone or video chat. Great sites for this include zoom.us and freeconferencecall.com, and don't forget about Skype and FaceTime. So again, whenever possible, take everything and only out if absolutely necessary. Next, this is a great time to sell physical or preferably digital gift cards. It is a great way to keep your clients engaged, get revenue in the door, and have clients visit you when life returns back to normal. If you can swing it, if this is an option, offer a discount on your gift cards. This is the perfect time to sell gift cards at a discount, get people excited so that when things go back, they still have you in mind. And again, it gets revenue in the door for you to stay afloat during the next few months. If you have savings or current lines of credit, this is the time to use them. It is better to use your own funds than to take out a loan, which we'll talk about in just a few minutes. If you do not have savings, make this a priority moving forward. You all hear of saving it for a rainy day. The rainy day has come. We're here. Use your savings if you have them. You also have the option to utilize crowdfunding websites such as GoFundMe or Kickstarter. Crowdfunding requires a big social media strategy and can be very effective, but keep in mind, this should not be your first strategy. People are struggling throughout the nation, throughout the world. This could be effective for those of you who have a big following, but don't put all of your eggs in one basket. And then lastly, apply for a loan. There are many options for loans. However, we're going to be focusing on two specific loans that have come out. So the SBA provides low-interest disaster loans to help businesses and homeowners recover from a declared disaster. This is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. As you can see, there are two loan options that have been created during the outbreak to assist small business owners. So first is that Economic Injury Disaster Loan specifically for when disasters occur. And the next is the Paycheck Protection Program, which is a loan designed to provide a direct incentive for small businesses to keep their workers on the payroll. So this loan specifically is to help small businesses keep employees, and yourself included, on the payroll. Let's review each one in detail and discuss what's better for your business should you decide to move forward with a loan. A very important before we continue. Only apply for a loan if you truly need one. And only ask for what you need. Do not get stuck with a loan and owe interest for the excitement of getting cash in your account. Make a smart decision, hasty decision. And I'll say that one more time. Apply for a loan if you need one. This is a question to talk to an accountant, to talk with a business consultant such as myself. Please make sure that you're not getting excited to go get funding just for the sake of funding. Make sure that it's a smart business decision for you as well, because eventually you will have to pay it back, at least in part. So let's get started with the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. So this loan, eligibility for this is SBA qualified small businesses, who has 100 or fewer employees, private nonprofits, independent contractors, sole proprietorships, and tribal businesses. So this means for all of those of you who are a one-man show or one-woman show, you are the only employee, you're still an employee. So you still count as a small business. So you are eligible for this loan. The application process is applying through SBA.gov. You will see a banner at the top of the website which talks about the EIDL loan. Very easy to find. Make sure you are applying for the disaster loan specifically. You will be assigned an application number and a case manager. A very important note here, it will take about 1 week for this case manager to contact you. So please do not get frustrated or think that nothing's happening. They are inundated with applications. So it will take a week or so for the case manager to contact you. But in the meantime, again, make sure that you're doing everything possible to continue to run your business and do as much as you can to get prepared for the loan, which I'll talk about in the next few slides. This loan is utilized for working capital, inventory, equipment purchases, and real estate payments or other operating expenses. So just about anything for your business. The Economic Injury Disaster Loan has a loan amount of up to $2 million based on your actual economic injury as determined by the SBA. So what this means is that they will actually, your case manager, be asking you how much of an economic injury have you had. So if you're making revenue of, let's say, for example, $50,000 a year as a small business, and you say that you've suffered $2 million, that's not going to work, right? They're going to actually look into what injury have you had as a small business. So again, this goes back to my point. Don't ask for a loan of $2 million just because you want $2 million in the bank, right? You want to make sure that you're asking for something that makes sense, is a smart business decision, and that you can pay back. So they will be asking you what your injury is as a small business. They'll be verifying this through your financials and then providing a loan based on that. Collateral for this loan will be required for loans of more than $25,000. So if you have a loan for less than that, no collateral is required. A credit check is required. The decision for this loan is based on your credit score. However, an important note here is that the purpose of these loans is to help as many small businesses as possible. So although your credit will be checked and it is a factor in the decision, please apply because they want to help small businesses. They want to support you as a small business owner. So don't let your credit be a detriment for you applying for this loan. The interest rate is 3.75% for businesses and 2.75% for nonprofits. This is a phenomenal interest rate, as normal business loans are between 5 and 9% for most institutions. This is a great interest rate for you. And payments are deferred for up to 1 year. So if you do apply, get your loan, you actually will not owe a payment for up to the first year, which is a phenomenal part of this program. The loan term, depending on the loan amount, is up to 30 years. So you are able to maximize the funding and have lower payments the longer your term is for this loan. Again, you will talk with this with your case manager. Make sure you're asking these questions for your small business specifically. This loan is available until the end of 2020. Of course, things will be considered as this virus continues to change daily life. And so this is an ever-changing date, but as of now, these applications are open until the end of 2020. A note for everybody, applications are being accepted now, and applicants are eligible for a $10,000 grant. This is a grant, which means free money when applying for the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. What this means is if you do not get approved for this loan, you still get a $10,000 grant to assist you with your small business. And again, this is a grant, so you will not have to pay it back. The purpose of this is to help your small business. So once you're applying for this loan, you will be contacted by a case manager, ask them about the $10,000 grant, and you should have that within 3 days of applying for the grant, once you talk to the case manager. So that's a very important note. Once you talk to the case manager, they will go ahead and talk to you about that $10,000 grant. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask on the chat function. All right, let's continue. The next one is the Paycheck Protection Program. So eligibility for this program is any small business in operation as of February 15th, with less than 500 employees, nonprofits with less than 500 employees, veteran groups, self-employed individuals, independent contractors, and sole proprietors. So someone asked, are you only eligible for the $10,000 grant if you apply for the loan? That is correct. So yes, you have to apply for the loan. If you get approved for the loan, you will continue with the program with the loan. If you're not approved for the loan, they will still give you the $10,000 to support your small business. All right, so like I said, eligibility is for all of those listed programs there. Application process, this is issued directly by an SBA approved lender, not by the SBA, but by a lender. So this means almost every bank, almost every credit union, and other lenders will be approved. So you'll be talking to your bank of choice, your credit union of choice, to ask them for a loan. These are 100% guaranteed by the SBA, and loan fees are waived by the institution, which is phenomenal. This program is expected to roll out on April 3rd, so coming up in the next couple of days here. And for most cases, there will be same-day cash when you're applying with your financial institution. So let's see this question here. Could you share any relief available to nonprofit educational businesses like dance groups or music schools? So yes, if you are a nonprofit, you absolutely can apply for these programs. And then as Laura mentioned, please go to her website. She has information on there as well. So for the application process, again, go to your bank. You will have same-day cash availability in most cases. These applications are very simple. Again, they're rolling out on April 3rd. So once these are open, please, please, please contact your bank. As you may know, most businesses are now closed and working from home. Banks and credit unions are considered an essential business, so they're still open. However, most have closed lobby hours, which means that you will want to contact them and ask them to set up a meeting or do things via. Before you go to your bank or your credit union, please contact them to set up a meeting. Also, these are used for working capital, refinancing existing debt, so anything for you or your business. I also want to take a moment to highlight what Laura's mentioning in the comments. Verizon has partnered with LISC to provide a $10,000 grant for small businesses and nonprofits. It is a very simple application. The link is shared. Please go to that link and apply for that as well. There are going to be thousands of applicants, but please throw your name in the hat. It's important, and you could be one of the selected grantees, so please do that. If you have questions, please contact Laura at her email there. A note for the Paycheck Protection Program loan. This is very exciting for all small business owners. The SBA will provide 8 weeks of loan forgiveness, which means they will give you the money for free for funds applied to payroll costs, mortgage interest, rent, and utility expense incurred between February 15th and June 30th if, and this is the important part, if there is less than a 25% reduction in payroll and you do not let go of employees. So if you have let go of employees and you receive this funding, you are expected to hire your employees back and to not reduce their pay by more than 25%. So again, if you were to apply for a loan on the 3rd when this program is expected to roll out, and you get 2 months worth of, 8 weeks worth of funding, all of that will be forgiven if it is to pay for your employees' salaries. That's an incredible program. But again, you want to make sure that these programs are for your business payroll costs and that it's for expenses happening from February 15th through June 30th. And as a reminder, you have to have your small business in operation as of the 15th of February of this year. So Nicholas asked, if we bank with one of the major banks, are we able to apply through them? Absolutely. Most financial institutions will have the ability to provide these loans. Again, they're opening on the 3rd. That's the expected open date for these loans. So a lot can change in the next day, but as of right now, almost every financial institution is expected to provide these loans. So contact your bank, ask them when they have it available, and if you can go in person or if you can do it over the phone. So yes, Nicholas, please ask your bank if you can do that with them. Jude, so if I have my checking account at the Financial Credit Union, I would apply for, that is correct, Jude. Yep. So you would apply directly with the financial institution. These loans are backed by the SBA, but they're provided by your financial institution. All right, guys, great questions. Thank you, Jude. All righty, let's continue. So the Paycheck Protection Program has a loan amount of up to 2.5 months of payroll costs with a maximum of $10 million. So this means, and again, you're gonna wanna have your financials ready. If you have a monthly expense of $10,000 for payroll, your loan will be for $25,000. So again, your monthly payroll is $10,000. You're gonna ask for 2.5 months of payroll, which is $25,000. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Please only apply for these loans if you truly need them and be realistic in what you're asking for. Of course, they're going to verify your financials, so don't ask for $10 million if you're making $50,000 as a small business. They will verify that. It would be great to get $10 million, but that's not realistic. So again, up to 2.5 months of payroll. And remember, 2 months of this, 8 weeks, will be forgiven if it's utilized for payroll, which means that if you take the full 2.5 months of payroll costs as a loan, you owe 2 weeks worth of payroll as a loan amount. That's an incredible offer. So this is a fantastic program. You don't have to ask for all 2.5 months. You can ask for 2 months and get that 2 months forgiven. So again, please apply for this. Once it's open, it is a phenomenal program. For this program, there is no collateral requested and there is no credit check. However, an important note on credit checks. Although this is not a determining factor in the Paycheck Protection Program, your credit is always a factor for everything. So of course, as of right now, your credit is not going to determine the availability for this program, but we do all know that credit is important. So if you don't have the best credit, make sure you have a response or a potential response if they ask why your credit is not where it should be. So reminder, make sure you have that prepared if your credit is not at least 630 or above. Your interest rate for this program is currently estimated at 0.5%, which is incredible, and it has a cap at 4%. Again, most small business loans are between 5 and 9%, so this is a phenomenal program all around. Your payments for this program have an automatic deferral of 6 months, which means that should you take out a loan for more than 2 months, which are not forgiven because you did not use them for payroll, then you will not have to make a payment until 6 months after you receive the funding. And again, once you apply, most institutions will give you same-day funding, which means you'll have access to the funds the day you apply. The loan term depends on the loan amount. So if you ask for 2.5 months of payroll, obviously your term will depend on how much is forgiven and how much you pay back. And very important, this is only available until the 30th of June. So please apply as soon as possible once it rolls out on the 3rd of April. Alrighty. So next step, we've talked about what the virus is, what you should be doing as a small business owner, as an employee for those of you who still work somewhere. So next steps, if you need a loan, and again, if you need a loan, please apply now. The important thing is for the Economic Disaster Relief Program, that one is already accepting applications. You will not speak to your case manager for about a week. So I heavily urge you, apply today. And in the meantime, if you on Friday or Monday or Tuesday talk to your financial institution about the payment, the Paycheck Protection Program, and you get approved for that, when you talk to the case manager, you can cancel the economic disaster loan. But apply now because those are on a first come, first served basis. That application is not closing until the end of the year. But again, the faster you apply, the faster that you're on the list. So apply now and deal with the case manager once you talk to them. Apply now, apply now, apply now. Next, make sure that you get your documents prepared and ready. Documents include your financials, and this is going to be at the minimum 1 year financials for 2019. For those of you who just started your business, please make sure that you have all of your expenses aligned, that you have a spreadsheet with all of the revenue that you have made so far, so that you can best show them what injury you have had to your business. So again, financial statements ready. You're also going to want to have W-9s, your tax returns, your independent contractor agreements, should you have independent contractors, your EIN number, and make sure to have a loan amount in mind. I cannot stress that enough. Make sure you know how much you're asking for. You can do this by talking to your accountant, by talking to a business consultant such as myself, but do not ask for a loan and not have an idea of how much you're asking for. Make sure you know the ballpark of what you need for your business. Next, create solutions for your business. So we talked earlier about selling gift cards, doing crowdfunding, et cetera, Come up with creative solutions for your business, whether it's taking your business online, whether it's contactless delivery. Find a way to continue to run your business during these times. Again, someone like me would be happy to help you with that. Please reach out via email and let me know how I can help, but make sure that you're thinking of ways to stay connected during this time. Next, contact a business advisor and network digitally, of course, during these times. So reach out to the Hispanic Chamber, to Rayo, reach out to me. Please stay connected. We're all in this together to help you stay on track with your business. Two last things, breathe and stay safe. So this is a scary time, but I guarantee you that we will make it through. Do your part to stop spreading the virus and make sure that you are staying as safe as possible, and continue to wash your hands as frequently as possible. Please stay safe. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We have time for question and answer, so please ask your questions. You have the contact information here for Frankie Joe Rios, who is the president and CEO of the East Valley Hispanic Chamber, of Laura Suarez, who is the executive director for Rail CDC, and for myself, who I again do consulting. So please reach out to us. We would be happy to help answer questions, get you connected, help you network during these times. We have several more programs coming up in the next few weeks, so stay connected and follow both East Valley Hispanic Chamber and Rail on social media and on their websites provided on the slide here. Again, we do have time for questions, so please feel free to ask away. Laura has provided a sample application for the PPP program from the SBA with a link there. Esther has asked, should I get my taxes done for 2019 prior to applying for SBA? The answer is ideally yes. If you can, absolutely, please do. If it's not a possibility, then make sure you have your financials prepared. So if nothing else, make sure you have your financials ready to go and let them know that you'll be doing your taxes as possible. But if you are able to get those done as soon as you can. I'll give you guys a few minutes to ask questions. Again, please feel free to email us should you have any questions specific assistance with. Thank you, Suze. I appreciate you attending. I appreciate it. Thank you, Adriana. Thank you, Frankie Joe. Always a pleasure chatting with you and working with you. Jude, great question. Great question. So yes, for these loans, you're only going to be eligible for one unless you're using these loans for very different parts of your business. So both loans you're gonna see on the application, they're gonna ask you, have you received XXX loan? So the PPP program will ask if you received the disaster loan and vice versa. So ideally, you're only gonna get one of these loans. And on the business side, you want as few loans as possible, but there is a possibility of getting both loans if you can show that they're being utilized for different expenses. Once you talk to your case manager, you can ask about that. But in my opinion, I would stick with one loan for the maximum amount possible so that you're dealing with one payment rather than two. Thank you for that question, Jude. Caesar, thank you, Caesar. Great chatting with you today. Stay safe as well. Mariah, I love your name, by the way. Yes, we would be happy to share this PowerPoint with everybody should you request it. Please feel free to email me. I think Laura or myself will be sending it out to as many people as we can. Gabriella, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you for joining us today. Esther, thank you so much. I know it's a scary time, but there is still hope out there, and please reach out to me. I would be happy to assist you however I can. We all need encouraging words, and I'm happy to hear that this helped you. Keep doing what you're doing out there. Thank you, Jude. I appreciate it so much. Thank you, Alejandra. Thank you, Rebecca. Always great chatting with you also. Should there be no more questions, please go ahead and again, email us, reach out to the chamber and to Rail. And if there's no more questions, have a wonderful and safe day, everyone. Thank you, Devin. Appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon, Devin. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, Arnold.